This is the story of the ant and the dove. Now, in a beautiful wood, there lived an ant. On scurrying along the woodland path one day, he began to feel thirsty. Drink. He set to find a stream. The bank of the stream, however, was quite steep for the tiny ant, and also very muddy. And the ant slipped and fell into the water. The ant couldn't swim, and he couldn't get out of the stream and cried for help as he was carried downstream. A dove who was flying by looked and saw the ant struggling in the water. His head would bob to the surface and then disappear, repeating, "Ah, that little ant is in danger," she thought. "I must help him." The dove flew down to see what she could do. The ant was still in trouble in the water. So the dove flew off to the nearest tree, and she plucked from it a big leaf, which she grasped in her beak and then drowned to the ant. The grateful ant climbed onto this leaf, and on this little raft he could then end his water journey and drift safely back to the bank. Once on dry land again, the ant looked up at the dove. "Oh, thank you for saving me," he called. Shaking himself of the water droplets, he said, "I'll help you someday." And he scurried off. Days later, the ant was hurrying through the wood, and he saw the dove sitting in a tree. He remembered with fondness for the help given to him when he had trouble in the water. Looking behind the dove, though, he saw a hunter was creeping up. He had a bow and arrow, and appeared to be getting ready to shoot the dove. "I can't let that hunter hurt my hand," thought the ant. Quick as lightning, the ant ran over to the hunter and bit him on the leg again and again. Alerted by the hunter's cries of pain and the sound of him hopping around the woodland floor, the dove had flown off to safety. But as soon as she looked down and saw the hunter and the ant, she realized what had happened. "Thank you, friend," the dove cooed down to the ant. "You did help me after all." "Yes," said the ant. So the two said goodbye, each pleased that they had been able to help each other. The dove flew off to safety, and the ant scurried on his way through the woodland.
good turn deserves another.
One day, a dog was passing a butcher's shop, and he saw a big, juicy bone inside. Just looking at it made the dog's mouth water. So as soon as the butcher's back was turned, the dog crept in and stole the bone, and off he ran before anyone could catch him. Carrying the bone in his mouth, the dog ran out of the village and out in the countryside. He wanted to find a peaceful spot where he could enjoy the bone without being disturbed near the river. Soon, the dog came alongside the river. As he trotted along the bank, he happened to look at her. To his surprise, he saw another dog with a big, juicy bone. Another dog with a juicy bone. If I hadn't been so greedy, I wouldn't have lost that big bone. Now I have nothing at all.
Be content with what you have.
One warm summer's day, a grasshopper was on a leaf, singing happily in the sunshine. As he sang, he happened to look down and see an ant hurrying by. The ant was carrying a large seed, and seemed to be working very hard. "Friend Ant," called the Grasshopper, "why are you so hard on such a beautiful day? You should be relaxing and enjoying the sunshine as I am." "Oh, I have no time to relax," replied the ant. "I have to collect food and store it up for winter. Goodbye." And she hurried off with her seed. For the rest of the summer, Grasshopper enjoyed himself. He basked in the sunshine every morning and sang every afternoon. And every day he watched the ant and her friends busily gathering food and taking it back to their nest. "You should be preparing for winter too," the ant told the grasshopper. But the grasshopper wouldn't listen. "I'm having far too good a time, and winter's such a long way off," he said. "Why should I trouble myself?" Time passed, and summer ended. The days grew shorter and colder, and the leaves fell from the trees. The grasshopper could no longer sit in the sunshine and sing. When he looked for food, he could find none. He was cold and hungry. One day the ground was covered with snow. The grasshopper was to find his way to the ant's nest. She and her friends were snug and warm inside, and they were well fed. "Please help me," begged the grasshopper. "I'm so cold and so hungry." "You should have gathered food when you could, as we did," said the ant. "What did you do all summer while we were working?" "I sang in the sunshine," said the grasshopper. "Well," the ant, "if you had spent some time preparing for the future, perhaps you would not be cold and hungry now." "But if you sing all summer, then you must starve all winter." "I'm very sorry," she went on, "but we have only enough to feed ourselves. I'm afraid we have no food to spare for you." And the grasshopper had to go hungry back out in snow.
Plan for the future and save for harder times.
Hello. Is the tail of the Raven and the Jug. Hot, dry summer's day, a thirsty raven flew over the parched countryside, looking for something to drink. Below, the raven noticed a jug. She flew down. The jug had water in it, but she couldn't reach the water with her beak. She was puzzled. Can you think how she could drink from the jug? The jug was the same as this one, with about the amount of water in it, but the raven couldn't reach the water. Have you got any idea? She could ask a dog to help her pour the water from the jug. The raven could cry and fill the jug with her tears. The raven could wait until it rained. That would fill the jug. She could knock the jug over, then the spilt water. No. The clever raven had an idea. She flew off and gathered as many little stones as she could find. These she dropped one by one in the jug. Each pebble, the water rose a little higher. And at last it reached the top, and the raven had a long, refreshing drink. If that's possible, do you want to have a look? What happens when I put these stones into the jug? Can you see the water rising? So that's how the raven could have a drink.
Necessity is the mother of invention.